Los Angeles Rams, 14. Houston Texans, 9. Defensive struggle in this one as well. Two good defenses. But the Rams get the win. They pull it off. A couple turnovers for both teams here. It's Nate Landman. Landman. The number of times you hear the broadcast yell, Landman, with a big play. Huge game for Landman in his first game with the Rams, including what ended up becoming a game-ending forced fumble.
Yeah, the peanut punch forced the ball out, and the turnover. By the way, Braden Fisk with a really impressive fumble recovery on that play. Like, full dive on the turf, one-hands it to get a hold of it, to beat somebody to the ball, and then other one-hands it to snag it in. Like, we've come from the PFF system where, generally speaking, fumble recoveries are like luck rather than skill, and it sort of bounces your way. This was one of the most skillful and impressive fumble recoveries I've ever seen in my life.
I was thinking the same thing when I saw that. There's certain times, like we always debate around draft time, like production versus athleticism and everything. And Braden Fisk was a really good athlete.
Yeah.
There's certain times, and like when Trayvon Walker had to run with the ball last year, and you're like, whoa, he's a better athlete than everyone. There's certain times when being an elite athlete, like Trayvon Walker, Shamar Stewart, like Braden Fisk, from a testing perspective, seems to work out for you. And this was one of those times. It was like just an incredible athletic effort by Fisk to recover the fumble.
You see a guy do that, and then you see other situations where people can't even pick up a ball. You're like, what? If a guy can do that, how come you can't just fall on the football?
We have Ladd McConkey the other night where he had plenty of space to recover, and he's like, I'm just going to bat it out of bounds.
Yeah, that's business decision. But that's the people who literally just try and fall on a football and can't achieve it. And yet Braden Fisk's out here like swamp diving into hell, one-handed, like trying to bring these things in. It's insane play.
I'm not sure if you saw this stat that I put out there, but you ready for this?
Sure.
Rams defense, in their last 4 regular season games in which their starters played, because they had a Week 18 game where they didn't play starters. Here's their points allowed, their last 4 games. 6, 9, 9, and 9. Now, of course, there was 2 playoff games in there and what have you. And they gave up 28 against Philadelphia. But in the last 4 regular season games, remember, that was the story for the Rams down the stretch. Yeah. They were not an explosive offense.
It's like 2000 Ravens pace.
It is. And they weren't an explosive offense down the stretch. Stafford wasn't great last year in the second half of the season. But the defense stepped up, and they caused havoc. And they were one of those defenses. I didn't always know how they did it, but at the end of the game, you're like, man, they didn't give up a lot of points. And I feel like this is one of those, just the 3 field goals for the Texans.
Well, it obviously starts. I mean, their defensive line kind of picked up where they left off. That young group of pass rushers I thought was really impressive in this game. They can get pressure, and like so many players get pressure as well. They were, again, how much of it is their defensive line still being really good? How much of it is the Texans' offensive line is still ass, right? TBD. We don't know yet. But in this game, that was the dynamic. Like, it was wrecking the Texans' offense. So that was a big part of it. Like, they were making plays on the back end as well. Kobe Durant had an absurd turnover where it's actually...
I didn't think that was going to stand, but that was an incredible
I didn't think it was, but I'm really glad it did, because it should have.
Same.
Not just because it was an awesome play, because I genuinely... Like, that should have stood. That's one of those ones where if you want, you can go into replay and try and find a reason to not let it stand. But, like, not a single person looked at that live and was like, oh, that's definitely sketchy. Got to take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's an amazing play. Awesome. And, oh, yeah, look, on slow-mo replay, if we play it at a quarter speed, you can see it does move slightly once it hits the ground. But, like, he doesn't lose control of it. He still got it in his hand. Anyway, like, absurd. It was actually a really good pass from C.J. Stroud. Like a dime. Higgins goes up and high points it really well, and then Kobe Durant just takes it away from him on the way to the ground.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. Yeah, that was really an incredible play. Another guy, he was drafted as an athletic upside type of player. I don't know where the rest of the season goes, but much like Zion McCollum, much like Tariq Woolen as a uber athletic corner, McCollum took 3 years to figure it out. Durant's in year 4, I believe, or 5 at this point. But yeah, that was a great play by him. And he was playing, it was like inverted cover 2. He was playing safety on that play and makes a great play on the ball. You're right, though. Like the Rams pass rush, and both pass rushes were fantastic. Both offensive lines got beat up. That it was the one C.J. Stroud sack where both Jared Verse and Byron Young are collapsing both tackles. It was Cam Robinson getting the start at left tackle for the Texans, and it was Arante Ursary at right tackle. Both tackles just getting collapsed at the same time from Verse and Byron Young for a sack. Yeah, the Rams pass rush looks as fierce as it was last year, and I think the Texans have something similar. But Stafford in the pass game, I don't know how they didn't put up more points, to be honest, because I thought Stafford did a nice job. They went in these spurts where he was finding Puka Nacua. He had that beautiful back shoulder that you referenced a couple hours ago to Devontae Adams. Stafford looked healthy and looked, that maybe it's not as big of a story with the back injury. I think the longevity of the season's the bigger story, but maybe week to week, Stafford's going to be perfectly fine.
I told you, they're going to wheel him out. They're going to shoot him up for whatever painkillers he needs to get the job done. You're not going to know. It's like, that's Stafford. He's the man's, we've seen his career. He's willing to go out and do that. Maybe it's going to have some long-term effects, but like short-term, I think he'll show up in the injury report every week, but Stafford's good to go.
He had a great throw to Xavier Smith. I mean, it's just big plays in there, man.
The Nate Tice had a tweet late last night. I don't know what his source of these stats is, but pressures allowed by the Texans, and this was just so far, apparently. This was during the game. But Jake Andrews with 4, one of which was fast. Laken Tomlinson with 4. Cam Robinson with 3. And Arante Ursary with 3. But Titus Howard hadn't given up anything yet. So, yeah, the offensive line was still problematic.
Yeah, I think you felt that with Stroud. I also, Nick Chubb ended up, I don't think the final numbers were awful. It was 13 carries for 60 yards at 4.6 a pop. It felt like there was just a lot of runs at, 2 or 3 yards at a time. Just didn't feel like they were on schedule where they needed to be offensively.
No, but I did feel that Chubb looked a little bit more like Nick Chubb. Last year, he never really looked like himself, coming back from the injury. He didn't look like maybe that player was never going to be there again. This looked a little bit more formidable and dynamic. Maybe we're not going to see, the true best version of Nick Chubb again, but this, he looked like he might get somewhere near that.
Stroud, the eventual, I always say the game winner, but the deciding touchdown, really nice throw to Davis Allen at tight end coming out of play action. I thought Stafford threw the ball well, made some really nice throws down the field. Devontae Adams with 4 catches in there,
yep.
And Puka did his thing. So, again, I feel like the Rams have more potential on offense to score more than 14, but the Texans, their defense is legit. Derek Stingley, they attacked him. They had no problem going after Stingley and Lassiter in their secondary.
Yeah. Stingley got hurt, left the game, and I think they sort of saw that as like, well, let's find out if he can still play after that.
Yeah, they were attacking him after the fact. But I still think the Texans defense has a ton of potential in their pass rush. The same questions kind of there for the offense. We thought we'd get more from Nico Collins, and Jaden Higgins had a couple catches in there, but they're still finding their way on the offensive side.
The Rams used a lot more 12 personnel, so 2 tight ends.
Been waiting for this for 7 years.
Ever. Yeah. And it was successful. Like at one point their numbers at a 12 personnel were absurd in this game, but this has been they've been one of the most 11 personnel sort of exclusive teams since Sean McVay got there, and even his disciples tended to be that way as well. Almost all of them have pivoted away from that to a degree, and McVay is kind of the last guy to have done it, but maybe this game signals that's something they're going to do more of this year.
And that was without their top draft pick, second rounder Terrence Ferguson, even being out there, and they still did it with Tyler Higbee, Davis Allen, who I mentioned, had the deciding touchdown there. So good win for the Rams. And again, their defense, that's the type of team that they've become, which is a bit more ball control, play defense. But at the same time, I'm encouraged by what Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, the 12 personnel, what they could do. So I think they'll put more points up on the board when they go up against lesser defenses here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on Texans Rams?
Nope. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?